I will say that was the first time I've ever had breakdancing as an intro, and I hope it's not the last. When I was just a little girl, my mom identified me as someone with a serious case of TMP, and that carries through to today. She's a clinical psychologist, and she diagnosed me with too many projects. And it holds through to this day. Perhaps maybe you identified that most people, when they hear what I do, they say, "How are you one person?" I do indeed front a band. I love to sing. I love to perform. I love to put on face paint. I also art direct the Disposable Film Festival, which is a huge inspiration for this talk today. It showcases films made by everyday people on everyday devices, and we show them on huge screens around the world, and it's awesome. It's my ideal design project. We get to get bags that I get to design. We get to have bikes that I get to make the decals for, in addition to posters and animations. And whatever needs designing, I am on it. And this is way too many projects. I know what you're thinking, but that's enough about me. How about us? For most of us, school is out forever unless you are an esteemed professor or planning on going back to grad school sometime soon. That joy of getting out of class and going to do some side project or hobby that you love is a lot more rare now. And why should we wait for retirement for us to get excited about the things in our lives that really bring us joy and bring us creativity? So I want to talk today about how we can still do these things, how we can find the time and the energy to get working, and when you should know when to take it to the big time. So first, let's start out with the steps to get to that point. This is an ex-boyfriend. I'm going to admit it. I included it in my slides. I asked for permission. This is Josh Atlas. He and I dated in college. He was an art student at Carnegie Mellon when I was a design student, and he got this amazing piece of wisdom from one of his painting instructors, which was, be prepared for your art to be a side project for a good part of your career. And Josh really took that to heart. He became an art handler, and in his free time pursued art related to donuts, and is now quite successful at it. You might see that having appeal in America, maybe abroad too. And I've taken that to heart too with my side projects, and I've devoted so many evenings and weekends and lunch breaks to working on my various projects. And I would ask you guys today, what can you dedicate? You know, maybe it's every Tuesday evening for a month. Maybe it's 20 minutes to sketch out some ideas. But think about what you can do in your everyday life to get excited about your projects. Also, enough headspace. So a patch in my nerdy quilt is that I used to be an improv comedian. Back in the day in college, I had an improv troupe. And one of the pillars of improv comedy is yes and. So the idea that whenever another actor throws out an idea to you, you encourage it, you strengthen it, you build upon it, as opposed to negating. So I think improv comedy is one of the fastest forms of creative problem solving. And if you can get good at this, if you can get good at being an agile-minded thinker and really solve problems on a dime, yes, and we will go to the store after this, you will become a person who can solve any problem and have the headspace for any creative project. So you might not know this from looking at me, but I love to weightlift. That's right. And it certainly will never be anything that defines me, I hope, because that would be really weird if I was totally ripped. But I have gotten obsessed with this class called Body Pump, which basically choreographs weightlifting to music. And I love it. And I work so hard, and I blush so much that my hair gets red sometimes. But I clean the slate of my mind, right? And that is the time that I come up with some of my, in my humble opinion, best song lyrics, and oftentimes solve very complicated design problems that I've been trucking at for weeks. So I would say to you guys, if you don't have the energy, how are you supposed to be excited? So think about what brings you energy in your daily life. So if there's one thing I've learned about working at YouTube, it's very, very important to include cute animals in your slides. So thank you, while we all appreciate this guinea pig getting to work. Cuteness. So there's this amazing documentary that isn't even out yet. I've been obsessed with its Kickstarter project and its trailer for a while now. It's called Advanced Style. And it profiles several women in New York City that dress so colorfully, so extravagantly, and so exactly what they want to wear. And getting these profiles of these women, there was one quote in the trailer that I especially loved. "I dress for the theater of my life every day." And I think that is brilliant. Can't wait to see it. And I personally have the fashion philosophy of look down and laugh. Today it's a little bit more like look down and give a presentation, or look up. But I would encourage you all to think about how can you dress creatively for the creative day that you want to have. And maybe that seems a little bit like a just on the surface thing to mention, but what is the yellow turban that you can personally wear? What's your personal yellow turban to start your creative projects and get excited about life? So designers love constraints. Maybe they even love constraints as much as they love sharing the stage with life-size typography over here. I think that's 2,000 points right there, 2,000 pixels. Okay, no typophiles in the audience today. Typography jokes fall flat. I'll take them out of the rest of my slides. Hi, Ted. Designers love constraints. You can say that a design project with all the constraints taken out is an art project, but many artists would disagree. There's tons of constraints in art as well. But what constraints can you add to your project? So Happy Fangs, we have tons of constraints. We are a 100% designer band, all 2 of us, 2 members, 2 instruments. We have had many qualified bassists and drummers come and try to infiltrate our band. And we say, until it impacts the music that we make detrimentally, we will keep ourselves to 2. Thank you very much. Constraints can be very helpful for making complex decisions. So what to wear, which I promise I'm not as obsessed with as I've made this getting to work section seem. I always wear white, Mike always wears black. And how else would I discover that you can actually buy white pom-poms on cheerleadersupplies.com unless we had this constraint? Another recommendation, I have a partner on almost every project I do, and I think that is so, so valuable. There's this conception of a lone genius working by himself or herself, but I don't think that's true. Like, how many famous partnerships do they divide the work? Maybe not always equally, but so we have John and Paul. We also have a brother duo in the audience today that is insanely creative, awesomely creative, Charles and Ray Eames. Not necessarily a romantic partnership always. I would recommend that doesn't always have to be someone you like. Maybe it's someone you just work really well with. Friendship might even get in the way, who knows? But having a partner also holds you accountable for the work you're supposed to do, which I think can be sometimes very, very beneficial for getting projects done. So, when do you know when it's time to take your side project to the main stage? So I have one example for you. It's a personal one. So maybe 4 years ago, I was talking with one of the founders of the Disposable Film Festival about how I had written this holiday song. And we both had a day, and he had a flip camera. So we made this video. We went around San Francisco, and we made this, kind of quirky little video. And it went on a very small, local San Francisco scale, kind of viral. And then probably a year and a half later, when I went to apply for the visual design position at YouTube, which I happen to be qualified for as well, so it's not necessarily from just making a video. But when I went in for my interview, I found out that, half of my interviewers had seen my video, which is kind of cool. And the other couple had been to the Disposable Film Festival and were fans because they really felt like it emphasized a lot of the key values of YouTube. So I ended up getting the job, and one of the pages I got to redesign was the video page you see here, which was pretty freaking cool, especially when you see it in movies. So I've worked at YouTube for about 2.5 years now, and I feel so much pride and humbleness to be able to design a site that has impacted so many people. And I also want to say it means so much to get to be here today and speak to you about creativity and getting excited. But I'm not going to leave you without some homework. It starts from this design done by Matt Jones, a Welsh designer, that was actually printed on a T-shirt at my last job, Mule Design. And whenever I wear this T-shirt, people really get excited. And so my homework to you guys would be to find the time, to find the space, to get to work, and to decide when it's time to go pro, and to get excited and make things. Thank you very much.